Welcome back to The Unseen Wisdom, where we uncover the unexpected and fascinating. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives. And don't forget to leave a comment below. We love hearing your thoughts. Today, we're heading to Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso?
Yeah, Burkina Faso. It's a country that honestly doesn't always get the spotlight.
I agree, it's often overlooked.
But trust me, what's happening there is extraordinary.
Oh, absolutely. Burkina Faso is quietly leading a revolution. A green revolution. One that really challenges what we think is possible in a nation facing, well, let's be honest, some pretty significant hurdles.
I was completely caught off guard when I first learned about this. We tend to think of African nations as importers of technology.
Right, not necessarily the inventors.
Exactly. But Burkina Faso is changing that narrative.
They're flipping the script.
And they're doing it, get this, with a homegrown electric car, the Idawa.
It's a bold move, no question. Launching an electric car company is a huge undertaking for any country.
Let alone one facing the challenges Burkina Faso has.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But this is where the unseen wisdom really comes into play. Burkina Faso is using its own unique strengths, its ingenuity. And you can't forget that abundant sunshine.
Yeah, that sunshine. So let's talk about the car itself. There are two models, the Native and the Sahel.
The Sahel is the one that really caught my eye, too.
Oh, yeah.
The specs are impressive, especially that 330-kilometer range.
330 kilometers on a single charge. That's pretty impressive.
It's amazing, especially when you think about what that means for Burkina Faso. 330 kilometers is enough to travel between major towns and villages.
Oh, I see what you mean.
People could visit family, transport goods, all without needing expensive gas.
It opens up so many possibilities.
Right, for mobility and connection within the country.
And they're charging these cars with solar panels.
Oh, that's what I love. Burkina Faso has so much sun. It's brilliant. They're leveraging that.
It seems so obvious when you think about it.
It's a perfect example of appropriate technology, finding solutions that fit a region's specific conditions.
It makes the Idawa eco-friendly and affordable.
Which is crucial, especially in a country where so many are struggling financially. And here's the most impressive part.
What's that?
The Idawa isn't just assembled in Burkina Faso, it's fully designed and manufactured there.
Wait, so we're not talking about imported parts?
Nope, this is 100% homegrown innovation from start to finish. It's about building the capacity to produce these cars within the country.
So it's about more than just having electric cars. It's about creating jobs, fostering expertise.
Exactly. It stimulates the local economy. It's a powerful message of self-reliance.
It's like the Idawa is a catalyst. It's sparking broader economic and social transformation.
Precisely. And it's all part of President Ibrahim Traoré's vision. The electric car is just one piece of a much larger plan.
A holistic strategy for sustainable development.
Exactly.
So what else is President Traoré doing that connects to this?
Well, alongside Idawa, he's investing heavily in solar energy farms.
Makes sense. Power the cars and the country.
Exactly. These farms will power homes, businesses, and those Idawa charging stations.
So they're creating a sustainable ecosystem, the infrastructure to support this shift.
That's exactly right, but it doesn't end there. He's also pushing for the construction of tomato processing plants.
Tomato processing plants. That seems like a jump from electric cars.
It might seem that way, but it's all carefully planned. Burkina Faso relies heavily on imported goods.
Including processed foods, I'd imagine.
Yes, and by building local processing facilities, they reduce that dependence on imports. They create local jobs and generate revenue within the country.
It's all about boosting those local industries, creating a more self-reliant economy.
Exactly, and there's more. President Traoré is also pushing for the construction of gold refineries.
Gold refineries.
Yep, they have significant gold deposits, but a lot of that gold is exported raw for processing.
I see. So building local refineries keeps more of those profits in Burkina Faso.
Right, and if you look at the pattern, electric cars, solar farms, tomato plants, gold refineries, it's clear what's happening.
They're maximizing Burkina Faso's resources. They're creating a more sustainable and self-sufficient future.
Exactly. And he's also pushing for massive road development projects to connect rural and urban areas, making it easier to transport goods, facilitate trade, and improve access to services.
So much of what he's doing is interconnected.
It's truly remarkable.
It's like a symphony of development, each piece working together to create a harmonious whole.
And the conductor of the symphony, a 37-year-old leader who's not afraid to challenge conventions.
He's setting a bold example, not just for Burkina Faso, but for the entire continent.
And it makes you wonder, Can Burkina Faso become a model for sustainable development in Africa? Could this small, landlocked nation, with all its challenges, actually be leading the way to a greener, more prosperous future for the entire continent?
Now, those are questions worth exploring.
Yeah.
And explore them we shall. We were just talking about the potential for Burkina Faso to become a model for sustainable development, not just for Africa, but for the world. It's a bold idea.
It is, and to really understand it, I think we need to zoom out a bit, see the bigger picture. What's happening in Burkina Faso, this embrace of green tech and local production, well, it's not unique.
So it's not just a Burkina Faso story.
Right, it's more like a Pan-African story. We're seeing these glimmers of change across the continent, a real movement towards self-reliance and innovation.
So what other examples come to mind? What else stands out to you?
Well, take Kenya, for instance. Their electric motorcycle industry is booming.
Electric motorcycles.
Yeah, they're being driven by local entrepreneurs who are, really tuned in to the needs of a rapidly growing urban population.
That makes sense. Cities are changing so quickly.
Exactly. And these electric motorcycles, they're not just cleaner than traditional gas-powered bikes.
They're quieter too, right?
Much quieter and way cheaper to operate.
So it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Better for the environment and the pocketbook.
Absolutely. And then you have Rwanda. They've been making great strides with electric vehicles. They've set some ambitious goals for adoption and implemented policies to encourage investment in charging infrastructure and manufacturing.
So they're really trying to jumpstart the electric vehicle market there.
They are. They see it as a path towards energy independence and a way to combat air pollution in their cities.
Smart. So what about South Africa? They've always been seen as a leader in the African automotive industry. Where do they stand on this?
Well, South Africa has mainly been focusing on hybrid vehicles up to this point, but there's a growing interest in fully electric options as well.
So are they poised to become a major player in the African electric vehicle market?
Oh, absolutely. They've got the manufacturing capacity and a skilled workforce. They have all the right ingredients.
It really feels like we're witnessing a tipping point. Like the whole continent is waking up to the potential of green technology.
That's what's so exciting. And this movement isn't just about government mandates or international pressure. It's coming from within.
From the ground up.
Exactly. It's local entrepreneurs, innovators, and communities recognizing the need for sustainable solutions and then taking action creating those solutions themselves.
It's like a collective light bulb moment, a realization that Africa can chart its own course, one that's both environmentally and economically sustainable.
Precisely. And that brings us right back to Burkina Faso and the Idoa. It's not just a car, it's a symbol of this new mindset. It's a declaration of independence from the old ways of doing things.
I love that. But transforming an entire continent's energy and transportation infrastructure is no small task. What are some of the challenges Burkina Faso and other African nations might face as they scale up these green initiatives?
Well, investment's a big one. Scaling up electric vehicle production, building those charging networks, developing renewable energy infrastructure, all of that takes a lot of capital.
And what about the existing infrastructure? A lot of African countries have aging or inadequate power grids. Can those grids handle the increased demand that comes with all these electric vehicles?
That's a great point. Upgrading and expanding those grids will be critical, and that's an area where international partnerships and knowledge sharing can play a huge role.
Collaboration is key. Now, what about affordability? Even though the Idoa is relatively inexpensive compared to electric vehicles in developed countries, it's still a big purchase for a lot of people in Burkina Faso. How do you bridge that gap? How do you make these technologies more accessible?
That's where creative financing models, government incentives, and a focus on local production really matter. By building these vehicles locally, using locally sourced materials, and fostering local expertise, you can reduce costs and make the technology more attainable for the average citizen.
That makes sense. But can a homegrown brand like Idoa really compete with the big global automotive giants who are also entering the electric vehicle market? I mean, those companies have massive resources and years of experience.
It's definitely a David versus Goliath situation, but we've seen it before, haven't we? Innovation often comes from the most unexpected places, and Idoa has a real advantage. It's specifically designed for the conditions in Africa. Its success will depend on its ability to continue to innovate, to adapt, and to offer those features that really meet the needs of African consumers.
So it's about understanding the market, meeting the needs. We've talked a lot about the technology and the economics, but let's not forget about the people. Are people actually ready to embrace this shift? I mean, are they willing to invest in electric vehicles? Are there enough skilled technicians to maintain them?
That's where education, awareness building, and workforce development are so important. It's a big change. There's going to be a learning curve, but the potential benefits are huge. More jobs, cleaner air, lower energy costs. Those are things that can really inspire people to make a change.
It's not just about the technology itself. It's about those social and cultural shifts that need to happen in tandem. Changing mindsets, building trust, and empowering communities to be part of this transformation.
Absolutely, and that's where the unseen wisdom really comes in. True progress isn't just about importing solutions. It's about tapping into the ingenuity, the resilience, the resourcefulness that already exists within every community.
It's about finding solutions that work on a global scale, but that are also tailored to the unique needs of each region.
Exactly. And sustainable development isn't just about technology, it's about people. It's about empowering them to take control, create a future that's both prosperous and sustainable for everyone.
So it sounds like there's a lot of work to do, but the potential is enormous. Let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the man behind all of this. President Ibrahim Traoré, what's his story? How did a 37-year-old leader come to champion such a bold, unconventional development strategy?
Now that is a fascinating story, and one we'll delve into right after this.
Okay, so before the break, we were about to learn more about President Ibrahim Traoré, this young leader who's spearheading Burkina Faso's push for sustainability. What can you tell us about him? What's his story?
Well, he's a really fascinating guy. You know, he's a military officer by training, came to power during a pretty tumultuous time for the country.
It was a period of a lot of instability, right?
Exactly, and he's young, you know, only 37 years old.
Oh, one of the youngest leaders in the world. You'd think, facing these challenges, he might be more inclined to, well, to play it safe.
You'd think so, right? But
Yeah.
everything we've talked about so far suggests he's anything but conventional.
He definitely seems to be taking a very different approach.
Yeah, he's more of a pragmatist than an ideologue, you know? Not interested in those grand theories or abstract ideas. He's focused on getting things done, on finding practical solutions to, well, to real problems.
And that practicality really shows in his actions. It's not just talk about sustainability. He's actually, doing it, building it.
Right, the electric cars, the solar farms, the tomato processing plants, all of it. It's about making Burkina Faso more resilient, more self-reliant.
And he's also investing in things like education and healthcare, recognizing that true progress isn't just about economic growth.
Absolutely. It's about creating a society where everyone has the opportunity to, to thrive, to really reach their full potential.
So it's like he's laying a new foundation for Burkina Faso, one that's built on sustainability, innovation, and a belief in his people.
And people are responding to that, His message of self-reliance and hope is inspiring a whole new generation.
A generation that's ready for change.
Yeah, they want to break free from the past to build a better future for themselves, for their kids.
It's an inspiring vision, but realistically, leading a nation through this kind of change, it can't be easy. There are always going to be people who resist, who want to cling to the old ways.
Oh, for sure. There will always be people who benefit from the status quo. And changing that is never easy.
So how does he deal with that? How does President Traoré handle those challenges?
Well, from what I've seen, he's got a real knack for building consensus, bringing people together around a common goal.
So it's not just about him dictating what needs to be done.
No, it's not a top-down approach. He actually engages with people who disagree with him, listens to their concerns, and tries to find common ground.
So it's about creating dialogue, building a sense of shared purpose.
Exactly. And he's not doing it all alone. He's assembled a really talented team of people who share his vision, his commitment to building a better Burkina Faso.
It really highlights that leadership isn't just about one person. It's about building a movement, empowering others to be a part of the change.
And I think that's what makes President Traoré's story so powerful. It's not just about him leading Burkina Faso. It's about him inviting the entire nation and really the world to join him.
It's a pretty bold invitation. It makes you wonder, can they pull it off? Can Burkina Faso really become this beacon of hope? A model for sustainable development, not just for Africa, but for everyone.
It's definitely possible. And even if they don't achieve everything, even if there are setbacks, the fact that they're trying, that they're daring to imagine a different future, well, that's a powerful statement in itself.
Absolutely. It's a message that goes way beyond the borders of Burkina Faso. It's a reminder that change is possible, that even when things seem impossible, we have the power to well, to shape our own destinies.
And I think it also reminds us that real wisdom, that unseen wisdom, isn't found in textbooks or boardrooms. It's found in the hearts and minds of everyday people who are willing to dream big and think differently, and who are ready to work together to build a better world.
I love that. So, as we wrap up this deep dive into Burkina Faso's incredible journey, we want to thank you for listening. And we really encourage you to keep learning about this story. There are so many amazing things happening all across Africa.
Keep your eyes open for those unseen wisdoms that are all around us, just waiting to be discovered.
Thank you for joining us on The Unseen Wisdom. And until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep believing in the power of human ingenuity to create a better world.